This topic has been written about and discussed any number of times, but still holds endless fascination, and as our exploration into space continues, it heightens our interest in addressing the ultimate goal of finding alien life. What seems remarkable is that astronomers and exobiologists are becoming increasingly open and receptive to the distinct possibility of advanced extraterrestrial civilizations, and are bolder about saying so in public. It was not long ago that no mainstream scientist would have dared to publicly say such a thing. So do they know something? After all, considering our own galaxy has as many as 250 billion stars, there would seem to be plenty of opportunities for life and civilization to appear. The question is, why hasn't it? Well, here we'll look at some of the possible reasons. Hit the lights, sit back, contemplate the vastness of the cosmos, and enjoy. Technologically advanced civilizations are very rare, perhaps only 2 or 3 per galaxy, and they're almost always too far away from each other to be heard. This seems very plausible. After all, our galaxy is approximately 105,700 light-years in diameter. But if, as is commonly noted, the first electromagnetic signal on Earth that was strong enough to penetrate our ionosphere and actually leave the planet, it would only have to travel 83 light-years, and its signal would have degraded according to the inverse square law. At this scale, distance becomes time, and thus it's difficult to define what we mean by existing at the same time. As has been pointed out, it's not just a matter of where they are, but also when they are. By this reasoning, a civilization only 200 light-years from us would have broadcast a signal 200 years ago that would be so weak by now that we couldn't even find it in all the background noise. If 3 civilizations of the type we are talking about were each separated from each other by 50,000 light-years, they wouldn't be able to hear each other unless one of them was broadcasting with a lot of power, had amplified the signal and aimed it at a specific location. We could do that for a few hundred light-years right now if we tried, but where would we aim it? And who would try to aim anything at us, unless they somehow already knew we were here? For instance, in 2014, Michael Garrett of the Netherlands Institute of Radio Astronomy suggested that there could be approximately 3,000 advanced civilizations in our galaxy, but they would all be separated from each other by an absolute minimum of 1,000 light-years, perhaps much more. But 3,000 technological societies scattered among the 250 billion stars in our galaxy would not be easy to find, and they might be dead by the time we heard from them. What we do know is that our immediate vicinity of the galaxy isn't screaming with technological civilizations beaming powerful radio signals at us, and they would have to be aimed directly at us, either deliberately or by chance, for us to even have a chance of receiving them. Another important thing to consider is that advanced technological civilization may not use radio at all, and may have come up with their own communication systems that at present we cannot detect. The Great Filter. This one is not a cheery notion. According to this idea, technological civilizations will eventually hit a massive crisis that will, if not wipe out the inhabitant of the planet, will so damage life on the planet and the civilization on it that the civilization's technological capabilities will be completely destroyed, or at least so severely degraded that it suffers a catastrophic collapse. This could be self-inflicted, such as nuclear war or some other type of war, or so polluting the planet that their civilization collapses. Or it could be from natural causes, such as extreme gamma-ray bursts from, if not its own star, a nearby star. We know this latter phenomenon occurs because we've detected it. Stars within our galaxy, and in other galaxies as well, seem to erupt in a sudden and massively powerful gamma-ray burst, in which they can emit, in 10 seconds, as much energy as our own Sun is expected to emit in its entire lifetime. These stars, called Wolf-Rayet stars, are rare and very hot, and there is one in particular which seems to be showing some ominous signs, called Apep, after an enormously destructive Egyptian god of chaos. It's only 8,000 light-years away from us, and there's no telling when it may erupt. These gamma bursts may have other sources as well, such as neutron star collisions. What is interesting to note is that all of these various catastrophic events, whatever they may be, are what is known as a great filter. And according to the theory, few if any civilizations or even planets survive them. It's possible that every civilization eventually faces a great filter event of its own, and either survives it or not. We may have passed through several already, among them being the asteroid that hit what is now known as the Yucatan Peninsula 66 million years ago, and wiped out the non-avian dinosaurs and a lot of other life forms. It was just our luck that we weren't here yet, and this event in fact certainly paved the way for our own evolution. And there was also the devastating Permo-Triassic extinction about 252 million years ago. What caused it is still very much unresolved, from multiple impacts to volcanism to a runaway greenhouse effect due to the sudden release of methane from the ocean floor. Estimates suggest that up to 96% of all marine organisms and 70% of all terrestrial organisms became extinct. It's interesting to note that among the terrestrial casualties were the therapsids, a group of mammal-like reptiles that dominated the Earth, and their extinction, except for a few very tiny descendant mammals, gave rise to the dinosaurs. Perhaps that was our mammalian great filter, and we've just squeaked through. Maybe we've already passed through the great filter and survived for now, whereas other civilizations may not have been so lucky. There is no one else. This is possible, of course, but some people find it unfathomable. We aren't just talking about the evolution of life. Many people expect to find some form of life somewhere else in our own solar system. Many people think that we've already discovered indirect signs of life on Mars. In 1976, with the Viking landers and the labelled Release experiment, which seemed to detect metabolism in the Martian soil. Several meteorites from Mars also appear to show some evidence of biology. But it's not just proof of life we are looking for. We're talking about the evolution of a technological civilization that has discovered and mastered electromagnetism, turned it into a means of communication, and has decided to use it for interstellar communication. This is a totally different proposition. Earth, at 4.6 billion years old, has developed a bewildering array of life forms, and there is no doubt now that quite a few of these show definite signs of obvious intelligence of various degrees and types. But humans are the only ones who have gone through the steps required to communicate with other planets. Is this because such a means of communication is rare on every planet? Is it because only one intelligent technological life form can dominate and develop such technology, and we are it? On Earth, it's not just a matter of intelligence, but also environmental adaptations. For example, aquatic life can't aspire to reach the stars if they can't study them. And similarly, animals, however intelligent they are, wouldn't be able to communicate on the level needed to contact other civilizations. So maybe it's not a case of whether life exists on other planets, more a case that they have not evolved enough to the level needed to make contact. Meaning at present, we are the only technologically evolved civilization in the universe, capable of interstellar communication. Perhaps we've already heard them. The universe is bizarre, still almost completely unknown to us, and is full of very strange things. Among these strange things are many unidentifiable electromagnetic signals. So many, in fact, that astronomers cannot keep up with them. Some, like fast radio bursts, are now being studied and detected from virtually every direction in space. These are apparently coming from other galaxies, sometimes as distant as 3 billion light years away. There have been over 20 detected, including 2 that repeat, and 14 per year are now being detected, and some estimates put their occurrence at 1 per second, from all over the observable universe. They last only milliseconds, and are only detected after the fact in recorded data, but they are regarded as not at all likely to be from alien civilizations. First because they contain as much energy as a sun-like star emits in about 10 years, and second because there are so many of them. But there are 2 strange signals that bear consideration. The first, detected in 1977, has been immortalized as the WOW signal, named after Jerry Emmon, a volunteer whose job it was to review the result of sky surveys at the Ohio State University Big Ear Telescope, scribbled on the computer printout when he saw it. It was a signal that lasted 72 seconds, increasing in strength for 36 seconds, and decreasing for 36 seconds. Since the Big Ear was a stationary telescope that swept the sky as the Earth rotated, This was a good indication that the source was not a satellite in Earth orbit, but rather something from beyond Earth. Unfortunately, it did not repeat. In 2017, it was hypothesized that a comet, or perhaps two, that had been in that vicinity of the sky right around the time the signal had been detected may have somehow caused it. This claim was debunked when subsequent analysis showed that the comet or comets hadn't been in the correct position, and the signal didn't match any known comet emission. The origin of the WOW signal remains unknown. More recently, in 2010, a signal was detected that bore all the characteristics of an interstellar beacon of some type. Unlike the WOW signal, it was tracked in real time, and also unlike the WOW signal, it didn't originate in a relatively blank region of the sky, but rather seemed to originate in the vicinity of a star known as TYC 1220911, a star known as a yellow G2V star, almost identical to our own Sun, but older. It's 100 light years away, but again, it was never heard from again, and so no one knows what it was. We are just too young at the moment. This is a novel idea, suggested in just the past few years. It argues that even though the universe is 13.78 billion years old, it is unimaginably vast, and life depends on the synthesis of elements heavier than just hydrogen and helium. There has to be carbon, iron, and phosphorus, and a range of other elements important to life, that are created only in the death throes of exploding stars. How long would these elements take to disperse throughout the universe? Well, no one really knows, and it may be that we are in fact one of the first technological civilizations to have developed, just by the chance distribution of these vital elements in our galaxy. Others may, and perhaps will come in time, but for right now, we are the only harbingers of technological life, and no amount of technology, speculation, or conspiracy theories are going to change that anytime soon. What do you think? So that's 5 possible reasons why we have not yet heard from another civilization in the universe. If you have any other possible reasons why we haven't heard from a life form, then don't forget to leave a comment. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.